What's going on, process safety leaders? In this video, we're going to break down the display KPIs cheat sheet that helps sites drive their process safety leadership and make sure that the correct KPIs stay in front of the team members and actually help you as a process safety leader push the agenda forward. All right. So many of us that have been on sites, we understand some of the common struggles regarding being able to put in the forefront of center the KPIs, right? Like what actually matters and how does the site know what actually matters and what to track? And some of those struggles are actually making the KPIs visible. Displaying those KPIs is not prioritized. And that's something that, they struggle with as a site, as a team. The other struggle that we see oftentimes with KPIs is reporting accountability just not being clear. Who's supposed to report what is often missed. And, when you're having your team meetings, you're doing like that. Nobody really knows who's supposed to report what. And then organizational impact of KPI progress not communicated. Telling the story from where you are now and, where you're headed and seeing that through is of utmost importance with KPIs and using that in your day-to-day communications with your organization so that everybody else is along the journey. With that said, I like, if you don't mind, Felipe, taking us kind of through the key 3 steps that we see work to close these gaps and close these struggles in regards to displaying KPIs.
Sure, Joel. So the key 3 steps we've seen to help, a site and organization display KPIs effectively include the following. Step 1, simply assign that KPI reporting accountability. Assign who's going to gather the KPI data. The KPIs should have been already agreed upon. What are the KPIs we're tracking, both in step 1 of our framework, which is the established safety case, and then also in step 2, articulate a vision, really narrowing down what are those KPIs that we're most interested in. And so now in the sustain phase, which this is step 8 of our whole process, and it is part of our phase 3 sustain phase, you want to make sure that it's clear who moving forward on a long-term basis is responsible, accountable for gathering which KPIs. It's better if you can split it up, spread the load so it doesn't overwhelm one person or a small group gathering all of the data. But, of course, agreeing on when that data, who is going to gather what data, and who ultimately is going to put it all together for when it comes time to present that data. So step 1, assign that accountability. Step 2, define the KPI reporting process. What this means is how often are we going to gather the data? Is it going to be monthly? Is it going to be quarterly? Or perhaps, shorter or longer than that? What is the presentation going to look like? Are we going to present this, in a safety meeting that we have weekly? Is this going to take over the agenda of a monthly safety meeting, or are we going to create a meeting specifically for reviewing these KPIs? So you want to define that in step 2. What is that going to look like? And then finally, in step 3, present those KPIs and communicate the organizational impact. Now, why do we stress communicating this organizational impact? Because ultimately that context of why these KPIs matter is what's really going to anchor the impact of these KPIs and allow them to serve their purpose, which is to motivate the workforce, right? Motivate them to either keep doing what they're doing because it's working, or maybe adjust course, focus on certain areas that maybe the KPIs are showing some either stagnation or perhaps that we're falling behind. That organizational impact is often missed in our experience. We present the data and we can see, okay, well, we're doing well here, we're not doing so well here. The organizational impact takes it a step further and says, this is why it's important, the knock-on effects, if you will, of all of these KPI changes that's having on the organization. That's where that motivation really comes in. If you're able to show, okay, we've reduced the number of overpressure incidents, which is great, but top of that, we're actually seeing that, we're having greater plant stability, less equipment shutdowns, which means less time recovering from those incidents, more time back for us to work on other things and focus on other things. And ultimately, a safer plant, less losses of primary containments and all of those ripple effects that come with that. And so, it starts to paint that process safety picture for the site and drives that motivation to continue to sustain the progress in process safety improvement. So those are the 3 steps that we promote for displaying KPIs effectively at your site.
Awesome, Felipe. Thanks for taking us through those three critical steps. Now, as Felipe mentioned, this is only one of the steps on a 3-phase process. We want to invite you to participate. We want you to actually gain a lot of value from this framework. And if you do not have a process safety leadership dashboard, we want to provide you one for free. So if you haven't gone to our website, go to safeenergyops.com and make sure you click join our community. And in our community, we have a increase your process safety leadership challenge. And in that challenge, you'll be able to join other process safety leaders in their journey to improving their process safety leadership on their sites. And it takes you through the exercise to actually complete a process safety leadership gap assessment and a dashboard. All right. And if you are interested in getting our help actually closing those gaps and implementing these proven steps and this proven process to actually get your site's process safety leadership, operate at a higher level, feel free to schedule a free call. Just go to safeenergyops.com/call, and you can just, go there, and you'll see here as well. There's a process safety leadership strategy call here just to make it easy. So go ahead, do that. And until next time, we'll see y'all on the next video. Take care.